McMahon and I'm cookery editor of Women's Weekly magazine, and I'm going to show you how to make what we call multi-mince. It's a basic mince recipe, and then there's 3 different variations of it that you can add the different ingredients to. So although it's the same basic mixture, it's got 3 different end results. The basic ingredients are a tablespoon of sunflower oil, 1 medium onion which is peeled and chopped, 500 grams of mince. This recipe works well with either minced lamb or minced beef. It's actually minced lamb that I'm going to be using for this recipe. A 400 gram can of chopped tomatoes and a stock cube depending on what type of meat you've used. So because I've used minced lamb, it's a lamb stock cube I'm using, and salt and pepper. Then for one variation, to turn it into a chili con carne, I'm going to add a can of drained kidney beans, and then it needs some chili. So either you can use a fresh chili which you can de-seed and chop, or you can add lots of hot spicy chili sauce such as Tabasco. Then another variation is to do a shepherd's pie. So the basic mince is going to have some freshly chopped mint added to it and some mashed potato to go on top. And the third variation is an Italian variation. So I'm going to slice some mushrooms and add them, and add a tablespoon of green pesto sauce. This is a chilled type of pesto sauce, which I prefer to the types that you get in the jar, but the ones in the jar will work just as well. Or alternatively, you could just use some freshly chopped basil. So I've put the oil into a pan and I've started to heat it up, and I'm going to add the onion. And then this needs to cook over a medium heat for about 5 minutes until the onion starts to soften. So when the onion has started to soften, I'm going to add the mince to the pan. And I'm going to break it up so it doesn't form large clumps. I always find it easier to use 2 spatulas rather than just one. And I need to cook this until the meat browns on all surfaces. So once the meat has gone brown, you can add the can of tomatoes and the stock cube. So I'll break that up to make it quicker to dissolve. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. And then that can be left to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes for the flavours to blend together. Now I can either flavour all of it to one of those 3 flavours, or I could even serve it as it is. Or I could divide it into 2 or 3 portions and then do different flavours from the same batch of mince. So what I'm going to do with this batch is I'm going to turn all of it into the Italian version. So I'm going to add some mushrooms and a tablespoon of the pesto. Now this needs to be cooked for a few more minutes while the mushrooms soften down. If you wanted to, you could add the mushrooms when you're cooking the onion, but adding them at the end, they hold their shape a little bit more. Before you serve it, you can taste it, and if you want a stronger flavour of the pesto, you could stir in a little bit more just before serving. So I'm going to leave that now to simmer for about another 5 minutes.